Is there any message that Whitney does want to get out to Travis if he is watching?
Whitney has not given me a specific statement for Travis, although I know she just wants him to turn himself in. She wants him to come back, I would say, to humanity. He's clearly lost. No one but a monster could do this. I don't think there's any argument about that. And she just wants him to come back. She needs peace, and this investigation needs to be able to be wrapped up so that she can have that peace, and really our community, our state, and our country can have some peace here.
What can the public do to help Whitney in her time of need?
I think Whitney wants people to know the true spirit of her daughters. They were little balls of light, I call them. They were full of kindness and positivity and love, even for their father. They were just, we are so incredibly blessed to have had them in the world. And I hope that people can just honor their memory by giving her and her family grace right now through this difficult time.
The search for a monster. Let's watch.
Now to some continuing coverage on the search for the man accused of killing his 3 daughters. And that search is intensifying. Investigators believe Travis Decker may be traveling along or near the Pacific Crest Trail that's just west of the Enchantments, which authorities shut down last night. In addition to the Enchantments, several other trails in the North Cascades are closed right now. That includes part of the Pacific Crest Trail, Rainbow Lake Trail, Twist Pass Trail, Upper Stehekin Valley Trail, and Thunder Creek Trail, among several others. Investigators are also issuing a warning to those who live in cabins and remote areas in Chelan, Kittitas, King, Snohomish, and Okanagan counties. They're asking people to lock their doors, leave window blinds open, and turn on outside lights. If you see Decker, do not approach him. Instead, call 911.
The press conference was short, but through the tears, you could hear just how much those friends love those little girls as new video shows their personalities at home.
Decker, nice.
Limbo in the living room.
You can't stop halfway, Abby.
There we go, Abby, nice.
The girl's mother says this home video captures the personalities of her girls, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. They're practicing limbo at their grandparents' house before school 3 months ago. 3 Lights in Wenatchee, classmates and members of their church continue to visit the memorial in the center of town. The grief is felt across the country and across the globe. A Facebook page dedicated to the girls' memory shows people around the world lighting 3 candles and sending words of support, including people from Germany, Ireland, Australia, Italy, and South Africa.
The outpouring of love, generosity, and support has been overwhelming.
Those generous contributions will afford Mom time away from her job as a financial analyst and cover the cost of her final goodbyes.
New this morning, the GoFundMe set up for the mother of the 3 girls surpassed $1 million. This is only the second time in the state of Washington a GoFundMe has reached that amount of money.
The girls were going and loving their young lives, at home, at dance, and with their classmates. Evelyn was a member of the Greater Wenatchee Soccer Club. They walked the halls of Lincoln Elementary, they were part of an acting group, and left a mark across their community.
They are cherished, not just by the family, but by our entire community who watched them grow, perform, learn, and love. We ache with the love we still carry for them, and we always will.
Forever missed and remembered. Here in Chelan County, the Sheriff's Office says no further press conferences are scheduled at this time.
Decker is about 5'8" and weighs 190 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. Decker was last seen wearing a light colored shirt and dark shorts. If you see him, again, do not approach. Instead, call 911 or the U.S. Marshals, which has a number listed right there on your screen.
Travis Decker is still at large. Please be on the lookout for this man. He is dangerous.
It is a loss that has broken hearts across the Wenatchee Valley. 3 sisters gone too soon
remembered for their joy, their creativity, and their light.
It's also been almost 1 week since his daughters were last seen alive. You can see that the memorial continues to grow here. As that happens, authorities who mentioned it now warning that Decker could be in a neighboring county. In one of the newest developments, authorities released this picture of Travis Decker showing his distinctive tattoos. They say they hope these identifying features can help the public spot him and bring him to justice.
Him to command.
All as so many people anxiously wait for any updates.
Makes me just keep my daughter close to me, very, very close. You don't know what his next move's gonna be, and so you gotta be cautious, and it's hard to be cautious when someone's so experienced.
In a sign of Decker's experience at navigating the outdoors, authorities have asked people in rural areas of Chelan, King, Snohomish, Okanagan, and Kittitas counties to be on high alert for him. The message: lock the doors to any cabins and outbuildings and keep outdoor lights on throughout the night. Those precautions come as authorities also announced they believe Decker may be hiding out near the Pacific Crest Trail. Throughout this week, they have warned that he is highly skilled at navigating Washington's rough and tumble terrain.
We also know, too, that he's been an outdoorsman since he was a kid. Talking with a parent, it seemed like this was something that he was attracted to, liked doing in his free time.
Needless to say, if you see Decker, stay away from him and call 911 immediately. And as the manhunt continues, one thing that we are waiting for is the results of those girls' autopsy. That is key because it's going to give us an idea of when they in fact died, or a kind of a time frame of when they died. That is also key because it'll allow authorities to get a better time frame on the possible head start that Decker may have on them.
Shows us how this community is grieving.
New video shared with us shows the fun these three sisters had together. Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, described by family members as shining brightly with creativity, confidence, and joy.
There are no words that can capture the weight of this loss.
We ache with the love we still carry for them, and we always will.
Families of the Wenatchee Valley expressing their pain and sorrow with handwritten notes, stuffed animals, and tricolor hearts.
This valley helped nurture the creativity, confidence, and joy that Peyton and Evelyn and Olivia shined so brightly.
Family friends Amy Edwards and Mark Belton tell us the girl's mother, Whitney, is grieving the unimaginable with an immeasurable hole in her heart. Is there anything that people watching can do to help in any way?
So there is a group, and we ask that they look that up on Facebook, where they can see ways that they can support this movement.
For the moment, they say cards and donations will help Whitney as she helps investigators.
Unbelievable. It's awesome. I just don't even know how to describe it. I know that she feels everyone's love and prayers and support and their grief, as well as her own. And as do we here in Washington, in the Wenatchee community. I think that we all feel the love that the world really has shown Whitney and for these girls. And I think that she is just in shock and in awe of the community support, of the support that we've received from strangers, in addition to, of course, the many, many people in our community that knew these girls, because they were very active little girls. They did theater, they did dance, they did sports. So they were loved by many.
But the greater conversation on preventing these tragedies continues, centered around immediately getting mental help to those in need.
But Travis couldn't get those things. He tried, he reached out to some resources.
Whitney's attorney told us they've now learned Travis Decker reached out to the VA for help, but the hoops he needed to connect with those resources, she said, were so great.
Especially someone with mental health struggles really cannot do that on their own without an advocate.
As far as the mental health resources for veterans, Whitney had the strength to help Travis, or try to help Travis through his mental health issues as a combat veteran. And she saw firsthand the struggles that are involved for veterans trying to get help. Even when they seek it, it's impossible to get it here in Wenatchee and here in Washington, really across our nation. We are doing such a disservice to our veterans as far as providing them with resources, especially with mental health. And so that's a big passion of hers, it was prior to this tragedy, but now, excuse me, more than ever, as she thinks about her babies, that will always be in the forefront of her mind.
Fox 13 Seattle interviews one of Travis Decker's former platoon mates. Let's watch.
That there's more clarity now as to who he is, his personality these last few years, and some of his recent behavior following this tragedy. Now, the individual who I've been speaking with does want to remain anonymous, but they did share these images of Decker back from 2017 after they were finishing a march in Europe. The two were in the same squad, in the same platoon, in the same company, while they were stationed together in the 503rd Airborne Brigade combat team with the 173rd Airborne in Italy. They tell me Decker was kicked out of Ranger Regiment for failing Ranger School. Now, many of you have been questioning whether or not he was a Ranger. We've all seen some of the same photos of Decker in his uniform with a Ranger patch, but according to my source, he wasn't, because after getting kicked out, that's when Decker was transferred to their platoon, and that's where they shared a little bit more about who he was, just saying that he was a fit but quiet guy, sort of an outcast, yet a hard worker and a bit of a narcissist. They tell me by this time, Decker and Whitney already had their firstborn, Peyton. Decker eventually did warm up to his comrades, sharing that he aspired to be like his father and talked about getting back to Special Forces, but they say he never did. They say it was like Decker had some big shoes to fill. From what they know, his father was a Green Beret and he worshipped him. They did remain friends on social media, but they say that after these murder and kidnapping accusations, well, Decker actually deleted all of his videos and pictures and started unfollowing the majority of those who were in his company. Now, again, the loss of Peyton, Olivia, and Evelyn are hitting his teammates hard. They say that everyone who served with Decker is feeling betrayed and are distraught to learn of what has happened. That's the latest. Back to you.
The governor of Washington now activating the National Guard in the manhunt for Travis Decker, the suspect in the murders of his 3 daughters. Governor Bob Ferguson issuing this statement here on social media saying, quote, "I am tapping emergency funds and ordering Washington National Guard resources to support the search for Travis Decker, who is suspected of killing his 3 daughters. At the request of the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, we will be providing helicopter transportation for law enforcement as they search in remote areas."
She's doing better than I think anyone could ever expect. She's an incredibly strong woman, a strong mother, and her love for her children just really, I think the whole world can see it now. She is surrounded by friends and family. Her family has been incredibly supportive. Our community has been incredibly supportive. And Travis's family as well has been very supportive of her. I think at this time, she's just trying to grieve to the extent that she can. She's also assisting law enforcement with finding Travis or trying to find him. And she is already turning this into whatever positivity can come out of it with changes to our Amber Alert laws, as well as boosting resources for mental health for veterans. She's very passionate about both of those things. And I think she's just holding up really well. One of the things that she has said is when something like this happens, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. You are standing still and the world is still spinning around you. And I think that is very insightful as to the grieving process. There's systematic changes that need to be made in Washington State regarding the Amber Alert. The parameters of the laws and of the system didn't allow law enforcement to issue the Amber Alert because there was no obvious danger or something along those lines. And Whitney has some great ideas already about how to prevent that in the future when you have a parent who has the mental health struggles that are documented with the court, whose time and visitation is limited already by the court, and then they don't show up. And In this case, Travis Decker turned off his phone, which was something that he had never done before, and the police could not locate him immediately because of that. Then the Amber Alert should have been able to be issued immediately. And if that had occurred, it is a possibility, although we do not know yet, that those little girls would still be alive. I think that Whitney just really wants people to honor her grieving process and to honor the memory of those 3 beautiful babies, and to really hold our politicians and our country accountable for veterans and for the things that they need, that they deserve, and that they've earned, and their families, sacrifice their families have made. We all deserve the resources that we deprive our veterans of. And that's something that I know Whitney just really wants people to understand, that this really could have been prevented.
I understand, and I agree fully that this could have been prevented. Let's take a look at some of the searches that Travis Decker did before the girls went missing. It's my opinion that with Travis's military experience and his Google searches, we may be able to find out where he is. We will discuss this all live tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I will see you all there. Thank you so much for watching.